Hi, Sarah. Go. Hello, hello, hello. Hey, hi, come on in. All right. Happy new moon, everybody. Happy sadhana. We began our 40-day sadhana this morning. If you still want to jump into it, hopefully by this afternoon, we will have online what we did this morning, and you can just follow along for the next 39 days or start your 40 days tomorrow morning. It is, as we always know, a very perfect time to do a group meditation practice because it's the time of the year that really beckons, calls us to go inside and to do this inner work, which is so powerful and so profound. And so I am teaching on the Sri Sukta, which is the teachings of Lakshmi. And we have just had Diwali, the celebration of victory over darkness. So I want to read to you, we're on verse 2. We've done 1 so far, we're on verse 2. So go ahead and just close your eyes for a moment and take in the mantra. In Sanskrit, it is Tama Avaha Jataveto Lakshmin Anapagamanin Yasyam Hiranyam Vidayam Gamashvam Purashvanaham. Oh, dear sage, please carry me or bring me to the Divine Mother Lakshmi, the one who, once having come, never goes away. I'll say that again. The one who, once having come, never goes away. In her, I obtain everything. It's very important to know that often our prosperity, we lose it every day because we're afraid of losing it. We're afraid that whatever we've gained, we will lose. Whatever we have in the bank will not be there tomorrow. Whatever material items we have, we will lose. Even family, even loved ones, anything that we feel is that sense of fullness or wholeness, we have the fear of losing. So Lakshmi, the idea in this verse specifically, oops, let me just mute that. Specifically in this verse is, once that I have fully given myself to this idea of inner prosperity, gold, that I will never have the feeling of losing it because it's something that can never be taken from me. And that's the difference. Prosperity in a way that it's nothing that can ever be taken from you. It's already yours. I was speaking this morning in sadhana and last night in teacher training about the idea of the guru. And the guru being that gift of such precious teachings. And that each and every one of us are the guru. Each and every one of us embody the gift of the guru. So we'll do a little chant to Lakshmi, a little chant to that idea of never losing what is your full value, because you can't lose it, it's yours. Bring your hands together at your heart center. With the call and response. Om Namo Lakshmi, Om Namo Lakshmi. Try. Om Namo Lakshmi, Om Namo Lakshmi. Om Namo Lakshmi, Prema Devi Mataji. Om Namo Lakshmi, Prema Devi Mataji. Shri Ma, Jai Ma, Jai Jai Ma. Shri Ma, Jai Ma, Jai Jai Ma. Om Namo Lakshmi, Om Namo Lakshmi. Om Namo Lakshmi, Om Namo Lakshmi. Om Namo Lakshmi, Prema Devi Mataji. Om Namo Lakshmi, Prema Devi Mataji. Shri Ma, Jai Ma, Jai Jai Ma. Shri Ma, Jai Ma, Jai Jai Ma. Jai Jai Ma, Jai Jai Ma, Jai Jai Ma, Jai Jai Ma. Letting your hands float back down to your knees, bringing your thumb and first finger to touch. Sitting for a moment, receiving the fullness of who you are. That's prosperity. That is Lakshmi. But if you see yourself as less than, if you devalue who you are, the energy of Lakshmi disappears. But when you seek to find the fullness of who you are, the wholeness, the completeness, everything you see is Lakshmi. Everything you see is value. Think about it for just one more moment. Just touching your thumb and first finger together. This brings you into called Jnana Mudra, a very meditative mode. Something so simple. That is value. That is prosperity. That is abundance. Releasing your hands, open your eyes, and come onto your hands and knees. We'll start with a little cat and cow if you'd like. Always put a blanket underneath your knees if you need to. Inhaling to look forward, exhaling to look back. Using your breath to move this very precious body. And moving this body with this very precious breath. And as you feel ready, press your hips up to the sky, downward facing dog. And you can bend your knees here if you'd like. You can pedal one heel and then the other, or just stay in that place of stillness. Notice your breath. Notice your mind. And then let your feet do the walking as you walk your feet up to your hands. Standing forward bend. Making sure your feet are about 2 fist width apart. And that you're weighted down evenly between your toes and your heels. Standing forward bend. And then inhale, look forward. Send your left leg back behind you for lunge. Inhale your arms up to the sky. Nice high lunge. Pointing that front knee right at that second toe. Clasping your hands behind your back. Shrugging your shoulders towards your ears. Widen your upper back. And then bow forward, keeping your navel drawn in. Nice. And letting your hands float to the floor. Stepping your left leg all the way up to the sky. Go right into a standing split, left leg up. Nice. Pointing the toes down toward the floor. And then stepping back into that high lunge, bending that front knee, reaching the arms up to the sky. Nice, and inhale deeply here. Bend the elbows, lean back into your heart, lean back. And then float the hands down to the floor, step back, downward facing dog. Come forward to plank. And lower all the way down to your belly. Nice. Rise up into cobra. Open your mouth, stick out your tongue. Step back, downward facing dogs. Good. Left foot comes forward when you're ready. High lunge. And kick that back leg up nice and high. Letting yourself just descend the pelvis toward the floor. Let the pelvis just sit down toward the floor. That rooty, really nice grassroots feeling as you reach up to the sky. Good. Clasp your hands behind your back. Shrug shoulders to ears. Lift up and then bow forward, keeping the navel in. Letting your head come as close to the floor as it can come. Arms up and over, stretching. Hands float to the floor. And fly that back leg up into split, standing split. Pointing the toes to the floor. Scooping that low belly in, becoming soft. Everything that's touching the ground or in the air or in between. Let it become soft and light. Strong, but soft and light. Step back to the lunge. Inhale. And exhale, hands down to the floor. Gorgeous downward facing dog. Roll forward to plank pose. Lower all the way down to your belly. Rise up into cobra. Drag those hands back. Lift up through the chest. Pull that navel in. And send your hips back into child's pose, please. Walk your upper body to the right side of the mat. Stand through that left side body. And then take the walk to the other side. Embodiment of the Guru, one who understands darkness and transforms it into light. Not to say darkness doesn't have a place, it does. That is the Guru, to take what life gives you and transform it into value. Come back to center onto your hands and knees, downward facing dog. Excuse me. Bend your knees deeply here. And jump yourself up to squat, all the way up to squat. You need a blanket underneath your heels, place it there. You need to do a variation of squat for sure. And again, feel that sensation of descending, letting go in the pelvis, dropping through the pelvis. Spine gets long, pelvis releases. Standing forward bend. Thank you. Beautiful. Inhaling that left leg back up into that split, please. And squeeze the legs toward each other so the inner lining of that leg feels so strong. Walk your hands back so that maybe you can take hold of your ankle, the ankle that's on the floor, maybe with one hand, maybe with both. Sometimes it helps to look forward here. Nice, very nice. And then gently release that leg down and try the other side. Scoop that low belly, lift that low belly. And even with those moments of wobbling in that ankle, everything is getting stronger. Lower both feet to the front of the mat. Bend your knees deeply, reach your arms forward and up, chair. Remember to squeeze your shins toward each other, widen your inner knees. Sink your pelvis low, release it. And clasp your hands behind your back and bow forward. Shoulder blades come together, but upper back goes wide. Now look forward, keeping your arms behind your back. Send your left leg back behind you, so back into that high lunge with your arms behind you. And once again, bowing inside of your right knee. Taking those arms up and over any amount. It's so interesting what we make no big deal, right? No big deal. Arms behind your back here still. Yeah, opening those shoulders. Good. Now look forward. Slowly step your left foot up to meet your right. Release your hands to the floor and bow forward. That's why we practice these unusual, interesting flows. So the mind doesn't get caught up in what the hell is going on there. It just does. It allows itself to feel its way through whatever it is. So beautiful. Bend your knees here deeply, reach your arms forward and up. Asana has such a big purpose in our lives. Helps us get our mind to stay super calm because we're very busy feeling. To learn to feel like this, clasp your hands behind your back, bow forward. Inhale, look forward, grow long. Send your right leg back behind you. Allow your head to reach down toward the floor with your arms coming up and over. Tag that left hip crease back a lot. Kick up that back leg. Look forward. Step your back foot up to meet your front foot. Let your hands float to the floor. Nice work, everybody. Take your right hand to your outer left shin. Right hand, outer left shin, left arm to the sky. Twisting. Breathing. And switch sides. Make sure your shins are not locking back. Keep your knees even slightly bent here. Tack that left hip crease back. Nice. And bring both hands down to the floor. Roll up one vertebra at a time. Nice and slow. Reach those arms up high to the sky. Take a hold of that left wrist and pull to the right. And come back to center, switch sides. Feel that side body lengthening. Reach down through those legs. Rise all the way back up. Interlace your palms, press straight up. Beautiful. And then hug your left knee into your chest. Cross your left ankle on top of your right knee. Flex your left foot. So ankle on top of knee. Sit back to chair. Feel the groins moving back. Again, that release in the pelvis, that lightness. Clasp your hands behind your back. Take your shoulders up towards your ears. Send your shoulder blades onto your back. Bow forward any amount. Keep that lightness of being in the groin. Float the arms forward and rise up. Release that left foot down to the floor. Nice work. Beautiful. Second side when you're ready. Ankle to knee. Flexing that foot. Sitting back into the chair. Groins light. Clasp your hands behind your back. Where else do you hear that during your day? Keep your groins light. Okay, got it, Mom. Thanks. Lean forward. Rise up with your arms and rise all the way up to stand. Bring your hands to your heart center. Close your eyes for a moment. The blessings of Lakshmi. The blessings of those sages and saints that have come before us that have given us this path to walk. So that when we do our practices, we pave the way for those that come behind, not behind as in spiritually behind, just those that are coming up through ages and tapping into this energetic flow of love. Inhale deeply here. Exhale, release your hands down. Inhale, reach your arms high to the sky. Exhale, bow forward. Send your left leg back behind you. Open up to Virabhadrasana 2, second warrior. Notice again the pelvis just releasing straight down to the floor. It's just releasing, releasing, releasing. Even if that means that left hip might turn in just a little bit more to give you a little bit more space to breathe. Take those arms all the way up to the sky. Take a hold of your right wrist and pull to the back of your mat. And then straighten that front leg and reach for triangle pose, Trikonasana. Beautiful. Keeping that head in line with your spine. That looks so nice, everybody. Rise back up, Virabhadrasana 2. Right forearm onto right thigh or right hand down to the floor, coming into side angle. Use that back leg, push into that back hip, lift it up. And lower those hands down to the floor, step back, downward facing dog. Nice, everybody. Take it through vinyasa of choice or none at all, up to you. Gorgeous. Left foot steps forward, Virabhadrasana 2, second warrior. In this human body, this human embodiment is a gift. To release ourselves deep into this body, letting go deep into the pelvis. Navel in, arms to the sky. Take a hold of your left wrist and pull to the back of your mat. And then straighten that front leg and reach for triangle pose. Yep. And again, these poses are meant to set you free. So if there's a place in your body that feels absolutely stuck, send your breath there. Your fingers are completely awake, but not overworking, right? There's always I am awake, alert, but I'm not, creating this place where I'm overdoing. Come on up to second warrior. Pelvis just drops down. See that, feel that, let that go. And then take it into side angle, left forearm on left thigh or left hand to the floor. Nice, Lydia. Nice, Roz, Linda. Good, inhale deeply. Exhale, release to the floor, downward facing dog. Bend your knees deeply. And then press your legs to straight. Do that one more time. Bend your knees deeply. Press your legs to straight. And this time as your knees come close to the floor, let them drop into child's pose. People work to collect worldly objects. They identify those objects as wealth and work hard to protect them. And yet hardly anyone succeeds in protecting their wealth for a significant length of time. The pain of losing one's wealth is more intense than the pain involved in earning it. You're sage. You've chosen to give me this teaching so that I can find ultimate freedom. I pray that you shed your radiance on all of us so we understand the difference between short-lived prosperity and the prosperity that will never leave us. May I recognize and embrace Lakshmi as Anapagamani, prosperity that once comes will never go away. It's the way our mind thinks of it, right? Come on up to your hands and knees. Slide your right arm out to the right and thread the needle. Take the right arm underneath the left. Left arm can come up to the sky or over your head. Breathing in and breathing out. Prosperity is the mind. Poverty mind, prosperous mind. Not an easy thing to move from a poverty mind to a prosperous mind if you've had a poverty mind for a long time. Come on up and change size. I know that my sister and I grew up with my mom, and though we lacked nothing, and she worked very hard for that, it always seemed like we had nothing in her way of speaking. One of my dear friends that I went to school with, I'm still friends with since kindergarten, she was doing some work with me and she said, Sheryl, put yourself in front of the house you grew up in. She goes, does that look like poverty to you? Does that look like you didn't have anything? Come on. The mind can say things for a very long time. Come on up to your hands and knees, downward facing dog, that are untrue. That's why our favorite mantra, Asatama Sadgamaya, Kamasoma Jyotirgamaya, Murityama Amritam Gamaya. Please lead me from what is unreal to real. Good. Stepping that right foot forward, please lower the back knee. Inhale the arms to the sky. You might want to lower the back knee onto a blanket. And maybe those elbows bend here just to give yourself a little bit more open space as you lean your heart back as if you're being held from behind. And then wrap your left elbow on top of your right elbow, like Garudas arms. Garudas arms. I didn't say it. Lift your elbows high to the sky. Lean that right knee forward. Pull that navel in. And then unleash your hands, reach up, big breath in. Exhale, lower the hands down to the mat. Jump switch or step switch to the other side. As the arms float up, then let them come out to cactus. Observing that your back knee is not directly underneath your hip. And then wrap your right elbow on top of your left elbow. Squeeze your elbows up toward the sky, but keep sinking down into your pelvis. And unwind the arms. Inhale, reach. Exhale, hands down to the floor. Step to the front of your mat, standing forward bend. Hands on your hips, push down through your legs, rise up to stand. Let your arms float alongside the body. Close the eyes once again. Magnificence. Standing in truth, standing in power. When you stand in your own power, when you stand in truth, nothing can waver you. Even when you have difficult conversations to have, you do them in love because they're in truth. That's prosperity. Hug your left knee into your chest, open your eyes. Or open your eyes and hug your left knee into your chest. Left knee on top of right knee. You knew we'd go into Garudasana, right? Left knee on top of right knee, right elbow on top of left. Squeeze your shins toward each other. You can always post your foot, sit back toward chair. So again, the lightness in the groins is felt. The sit bones go wide. Lower those elbows all the way down to meet those knees. Curl into a turtle back, round your back. Breathing deeply, rising all the way back up, arms out like eagle's wings, reach up and then plant the foot down to the ground, release the arm. Glorious. Second side when you're ready. Hugging the right knee into your chest. Wrap the right knee on top of the left, sit back toward chair, get the groins back. Don't be straight up and down. Wrap your left elbow on top of your right elbow. I don't even think that made sense. That's why I left. Good. Lower the elbows down to meet the knees. Curl into that turtle back. and brilliantly fly away. Good. Hands at your heart center. Close your eyes. Breath of fire here. Inhale, exhale, pump the navel center. Hands are at your heart center. Breath of fire here. Pump your navel center. Excellent breath to do this time of the year. Exhale fully. Inhale, reach your arms up to the sky. Exhale, sit back to chair. Hands on your thighs. Move that breath up and down your spine. Cat and cow. As you're ready, exhale, float your hands to the floor. Step back, downward facing dog. Roll forward to plank. Lower all the way down to your belly. Turn your cheek to the side. Rest. Acquiring a stable mind is lasting wealth. Clearly seeing how I can become more intuitive. My mind can create. This happens to be the greatest prosperity I have, is clarity and knowledge. Lakshmi walks into my life, and my mind isn't fleeting, racing here and racing there. Turning your cheek to the other side. Breathe into this back body. Breathe into your kidneys, adrenals. Like you're lifting the shirt off your back with your breath. Good, and then come up to Sphinx Pose onto your elbows. Separate your feet as wide as your mat. Slide your right arm underneath your left arm, right arm like you're threading the needle. Start to roll over onto your right hip, stretching your left arm behind you. Keep your feet nice and wide. So your left leg is reaching to the right. Your right, yeah, just switch legs. Yep, you got it. And just feel the openness in your chest, left arm reaching back behind you, hopefully touching the floor or trying to touch the floor. I graduated this week from my 3-year apprentice of Robin Rose in Green Witch medicine. What that means to be a green witch is that I can point out in your yard something that someone else might throw away and tell you that it would help if you had a bee sting, it would take away the pain. Or I could point out in your yard something that someone else would trample over or mow down, and I could show you that it would bring you joy. Your heart would return to joy. That's Lakshmi, the gift of seeing what others might throw away as medicine. And come back onto your forearms. And switch sides. Keeping your feet nice and wide is great. Gives the hip the stretch that we want. Sliding your left arm underneath like you're threading the needle. And rolling over onto that side body, reaching those arms as wide apart as you can. Just feeling the inhale and the exhale. Letting this body, this mind relax here. Effort meets grace. And coming back onto your belly. And clasping your hands behind your back, forehead to the mat. Power of your legs, feeling like they are squeezing toward each other, though I don't want them to touch. Again, shrug your shoulders up towards your ears. Lift your shoulders up. And then lift your head, neck, and chest up. Pull your hands straight behind you. As if my hands were on the front of your shoulders, just lifting you from that place. Now take your legs up. Now take your arms in front of you like you're flying, super lady. And then relax down, placing your hands one on each other for a little pillow and rest. This time, reach back for your ankles. Little bow pose action. You can choose whether to do a little rocking bow pose, moving your body forward and back, side to side, or just staying as is. Inhaling both halves up, spread those toes. And as you release, let yourself go back into child's pose. It is the months after Samhain, after Halloween, that you realize how the veils of energy of this world and other worlds is very thin. Sweet time to connect with those that have passed. Not that we always can't, we always can. And also to honor those that have walked this path before us. And again, not that this is the only time we can do that, but there's certain portals, right? Certain times that things just become more open. So you may even feel, right, people in your life who have passed, you may feel them more deeply now. Or those that are coming into the world, that are entering in, maybe you know somebody who's having a baby as well, same thing, energies. Open to communicate. Rise up onto your hands and knees, press back downward facing dog. Inhaling that right leg back and up behind you, down dog split, sending it forward for pigeon. If you do pigeon on your back, just do your little flipperoonie. I love to watch that. You have your right knee right behind your right wrist, and then walking yourself forward onto your forearms or forehead. Don't know how I mean, some of you might not even feel that this is a truth for you, but I know that whenever I feel like spirit is around me, I feel like tingling happening on my shoulders or specifically at the crown of my head and behind my head. In the last couple of days, that's been happening a lot, a lot, a lot. Idea of reconnecting energies, always knowing that whether it's visible or invisible, the guru, whether visible or invisible, the guru of creation, destruction, the guru that is seen or unseen, the guru within you. That is prosperity. If you are doing pigeon with your knee on the mat, you might want to do a twist here, walking your hands up, taking your right hand to your left ankle, twisting thigh stretch, right hand to left ankle, no, right hand to back ankle. Yeah. I was like, that's weird. Good. There you go. Breathing in and breathing out. Nice, Lisa. Nice, Elena. And then releasing, taking downward facing dog if you'd like. If you're on your back, you can just switch sides. And then moving into Ekapadaraja Kapotasana, second side. Pigeon pose. Keeping those hips nice and square. Lifting that low belly. Even a rounding here in the back body a little bit. Lovely. And making sure that left knee is not speaking to you. If it is lying on your back, putting your left ankle on top of your right knee may be more valuable to you today. With the Ujjayi breath, sound of your breath, consistent inhale and exhale. Sure, you take time every day in meditation, whether it's joining us for the 40-day sadhana, or giving yourself a little time each day to listen deeply. If you have your knee on the floor, go ahead, reach your left hand back for your right ankle. If you want to take the twisting thigh stretch on this side. But spreading your toes, opening that shoulder. Squeeze those knees toward each other. Nice, Meredith. And then as you release, slide both legs forward in front of you and lie on your back. You can have your head to the back of the mat or front of the mat, wherever you are. Bend your knees, plant your feet. Do some deep breathing here for just a moment. Lakshmi is all about nature. Springtime, sometimes it's easier to work with the energy of Lakshmi because everything is so prosperous, you know, the green. And so I love to work with her at this time of the year because it's like the time where everything's dying, right? The trees and the leaves and everything is kind of going into that cocooning, you know, bear den kind of feeling. Because when that luster disappears, right, on the outside, maybe, just maybe, we can't help but go inside. We can't help but turn inside, Go ahead and lift up into bridge pose. Lift those hips up. Maybe clasp your hands underneath you. Keeping your feet anchored to the floor. Remember your shins are hugging in. Drop your head into the floor so your shoulders drop as well and the sides of your throat get nice and long. And then maybe kick your right foot up to the sky. Anchor through your body as you kick your right foot up. Lower your right leg down. Keep everything else exactly as it is and kick your left leg up. Push through your heel. Lower that down. Unleash your hands if they're underneath you and lower slowly down so you feel the groins releasing as their hips are coming to the floor. And then just rock your pelvis very lightly. Rock for your hip bones to move up toward the navel and then down towards your knees. Little pelvic tilts here, everybody. You know, I always say that squatting every day is such a good idea. But so is just little pelvic tilts, little pelvic tilts. And see what it feels like when you release the groin, what it feels like when you move into that lighter place. Try to keep that and lift your hips back up again. Keep the chest lifted. Come back into bridge with lightness. And then lower all the way back down. Separate your feet a little bit wider and just let your knees come to touch. I'm going to give you an opportunity to go upside down, which means you can slide over to the wall and take your legs up the wall, maybe shoulder stand, headstand, handstand, or balance. Enjoy your breath wherever you find yourself. Enjoy your breath. Anapagamanim, the one who does not go away. I find that kind of prosperity. The one that I'm not afraid of losing because I know I can't lose it. It's mine. The jackpot I won when I entered into this human existence. There's teachings like the Sri Sukta, like the teachings of Patanjali, Bhagavad Gita, and I'm sure in many religions there's all those great texts as well. These are the ones that have come before us that have outlined these beautiful teachings. We've said, we get it, we get the human experience, can blame you for being human, or we can delight in being human. We can give all of our problems, I'm just human. Or we can say, oh my gosh, I am human. The blessing of being human. Excuse me. Just one more minute here. And I definitely highly suggest, if you haven't done legs up the wall for weeks or months, try it. Every time I put my legs up the wall, I'm like, why don't I do this every day? Could slowly begin to come on down. If you are in headstand, maybe take a child's pose for a moment. If you're shoulder stand, you can come into fish or just roll your head side to side for a moment. And then we're going to come onto our hands and knees. So take your time to get there. We're going to do Mugasana. So sliding our right knee in front of our left knee and sitting back between your heels. Right knee in front of left knee and sitting back between our heels. If that doesn't work, right shin in front of left shin. Fingertips to the floor, get long, spacious, maybe sitting up on something again, blanket or block. And then begin to walk yourself forward if you'd like, or stay right where you are. Make sure that your feet are actively pressing the floor. Your shins are actively alert. Closing your eyes here if you haven't. Just taking time to go deeply inside. Curiosity is prosperity. What am I doing here? Who am I? And walking yourself back in. Pause for just a moment. And then switch sides. Other leg in front. Nice, Anne. The party version. Good. And when you're ready, sit back. And again, just note one side may feel completely different than the other side. And walking yourself forward or staying upright. Money is energy. And it flows or not. One of the teachings has been that when you think you have less than, specifically money-wise, don't hoard it and hold on to it, because then that's the energy that you're placing in the universe. Stuck. Instead, give of yourself in any way possible to keep the flow. In any way possible, keep the flow. So good, everybody. Take 3 more breaths here, deep breaths. And then after that third breath, come on up and just feel for a moment. Good. Undo those legs and stretch those legs way out in front of you. Nice wide-legged forward bend, Upavista Konasana. Again, maybe sitting up on a blanket works for you. Take the legs off the mat so they're nice and wide. Take those sit bones as wide as you can as well. Still having that sensation of hugging in those shins. So here's a way to do that. Bend the knees for just a moment. Bend your knees. Squeeze the heels down, pull them back. Walk yourself forward any amount with your knees lifted, navel in. And then once you come to your fullest extension, press your legs to straight. You can either stay right here or walk your right arm over towards your right leg and take a side stretch. And if you went to one side, feel free to go to the other side. Keep that head lifted in line with that spine. That's it. And then if you took one side and then the other, walk forward again just to see if there's a little bit more of a release. And remember, the release could always be your mind. Where is the mansion that you live in where you only reside in one room? Go into this body, mind, and you find this mansion that you are, and you live in the entire mansion. You come on up, coming to a cross-legged position. Again, maybe sitting up on a blanket if that feels good to you. Do some alternate nostril breathing. So maybe your left hand comes to Jnana Mudra, thumb and first finger come to touch. You're going to close off your right nostril with your thumb, inhaling your left nostril. And then closing off your left nostril, exhaling your right. And continuing like that, in through one nostril, out through the other. Keep going, just another minute. There's something that's called, she's called a mullein plant. She is wild. And I was so fascinated when I first started my Green Witch training. We obviously it wasn't COVID time. And I didn't see mullein around here too much. If I saw her, I would be like so happy and excited because it would be a surprise for me to see her. And when COVID started, she popped up everywhere, and her medicine is all lung energy, all lung, supporting the lungs, supporting breath. Mother Nature is so rich and so abundant. Next time that you exhale through your left nostril, release your hand down. And just a couple of minutes silent meditation. A beautiful mantra is every day and every way I am becoming. Because if you just tell your mind, I am prosperous, I am abundant, it may make some excuses and tell you you're not. Minds do that sometimes. But if you say every day and every way, I am becoming abundant, every day and every way, I am becoming abundant. Mind really can't argue. Turn around to lie down on your back. Take one final spinal twist if you like. Never so gently begin to deepen your breath. Let your body begin to stretch and yawn in any way that serves you well. Draw your knees into your chest, roll to your right side, come on up to sit. Bring your hands to your heart center. May we receive the abundant nature of who we truly are. And when we feel less than or not enough, may we go inside to reclaim every day in every way. I win the lottery. Deep breath in. Sliding your hands to the space between the eyebrows. Namaste, everybody. Namaste. Thank you so much. I hope you have a beautiful day, everybody. Make it great. Make it great. Make it great.